go for another hour and a half to the finisher, right? So you could do this. Couldn't you do this? Like just add them up and multiply and add them up? Yes? But I want you to see that you could do this with a matrix also. So I'm going to write down two matrices. The first one is going to be 5 and 1.5. This I could look at as being my hours matrix. It takes 5 hours for assembly, 1.5 hours for finishing, right? And then over here, I'm going to have my cost, my labor cost. And I'm going to write that as a column, 9 and 13. And this is my labor cost. Per hour. Right? You see these two matrices? This is a what by what? This is a 1 by 2. This one? This is a 2 by 1. Can you multiply these two together? Yes. Yes, the twos match. Your answer will be a 1 by 1. A 1 by 1 just means one number. And let's see what that number turns out to be. This number is the first row and first column, right? It's first row, first column. So I'm going to take the first row here. There's only one row here. And the first column here, which there's only one column. And I'm going to do that thing. 5 times 9 plus 1.5 times 13. Right? 5 times 9 plus 1.5 times 13. And that's exactly what you suggested I do to do this, right? It's exactly what was suggested we do for this computation. It'll be 45 plus, what's that? So what do you get when you add it all up together? Anyone have it? 64.5. 64.5. So this is our cost, $64.50 to manufacture one set of skis. But can you imagine now a more complicated problem where you have maybe 8 different, think about an iPhone. We keep going back to the iPhone, right? Think about the iPhone. You've got, this is not an iPhone, but if you had an iPhone, okay, it's got to go through an assembly process, right? That assembly process is not just one little process. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they got to pack in there, right? So maybe the hours for assembling an iPhone, maybe there's 8 different processes, right, that require different amounts of time. And maybe each of those go into different sections of the manufacturing plant and they have different costs, different, if all you're doing is sitting there and sticking a thing in the same thing, Yeah, so this is, definitely not $9 an hour. This is like 50 cents an hour, 25 cents an hour. Yeah, no. But seriously, I mean, you could, right? And then there's so many things that could go into this formula. And then what happens if you find another manufacturer that will do it for cheaper, right? Maybe they'll charge you more per hour, right? But maybe they can do it in less hours. So all you have to do is tweak the matrices and have a computer do the multiplication and see what this bottom line number is going to be. Understand? Rather than having to think through the whole thing again, recompute the whole thing, just tweak 1 or 2 numbers in the matrix. So it's just a way of condensing our data into something that's easy to look at, right? Easy to manage. All right, how do y'all feel about this? We'll see, huh? Okay, I have one more example. Let me make sure I'm covering this. Everything I want to cover here. 31 through 37. All right, I do have one more. I think we have just enough time to do it. I'm going to give you a couple of matrices up here. Let's it's gonna look pretty complicated here. You know what? I'll use iPhones or something. All right. Yeah, that'll be fun. All right. Retail price. And then we're going to have another matrix here, which is going to be the manufacturing price. How many iPhones, whenever they release an iPhone, how many models do they usually have? Like, you know, iPhone and then iPhone Plus or something? I don't know. It's usually 2. Let's just go with 2. A small and big one. All right, so let's say that we have iPhone, what's the new one coming out? iPhone 8? Is it out yet? 8. And then the iPhone, it's not an 8 Plus? Whatever, 8, let's just say iPhone X, whatever. Right, you got the 2 model, you got those 2. And then we're gonna put here the base price, and then can't you get expanded memory? Like or not expanded, but can't you get more memory? So what's the standard now? 64 is like base? I don't know. Let's do 32 base, right? And then if you want the 64 gig, and then let's say the 128 gig. I don't even know if this is true, but they have 3 different models. Okay? You with me? So the base price of the iPhone 8 is going to be, I'm making this up, let's say $700. If you want to add the 64 gig, it's going to be an additional $150. And if you want to do 128, it's going to be adding additional $350. Again, I'm making this up, okay? The iPhone X, I think, is going to start at $1,000. And then it's going to be the same things, $150 and $350. If you're not happy with my numbers, then that's fine. Yeah. Seem okay? Yeah, I heard it's 1,000 or something like that. One of the first phones to break 1,000. Now that's what they're selling it to you for, okay? That's what they're selling it to you for, retail price. Now let's look at the manufacturing price. So same matrix. I'm just going to put here I8, IX, and then here base 64, 128. So what do you think they actually, I have no idea what this number is, but what do you think the manufacturing is? What? 250. You think about 200, 300 bucks? I'm okay with that. Let's say it costs about 300 bucks to manufacture. I think that's high, but let's say $300. How about to add that 64 gig? Ooh. Maybe like 10 bucks, 20 bucks. Let's put 20 bucks. And then here, let's put 40 bucks. I mean, you can get an external micro SD card with 128 gig on it for probably less than 40 bucks.
So you're saying the base iPhone is cheaper than the 128?
The base, no, that's how much you add to the price. So you're going to pay 300 or 320 or 340. And then how about the iPhone X? Well, that's probably going to cost them about 400 bucks to make. And again, probably 20 and 40. Hey, I'm making this up, okay? I don't work for Apple. But it just seems, you do? Do you know their manufacturing cost?
I think the manufacturing price for the iPhone 8 is $85.
85 bucks? Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me.
The iPhone X is going to cost $412 to make. It's costing Apple to make.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, like I said, I'm making this up. All right. So what would, if we call this matrix over here, let's call it R, and let's call this matrix over here M, retail manufacturing cost. Retail cost, manufacturing cost. What would R minus M be? Can you do R minus M?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I think we have enough time. What's R minus M? 400, 130, 310.
Isn't it supposed to be, 320?
What?
Or
3.
is it 20 and that's?
We're doing R minus M, so we're doing 700 minus 300, it's 400. 150 minus 20, 350 minus 40, right?
Okay, I was just wondering if you're gonna add the 20 to the 300 since that's how you're doing it.
No, no. And then what would this next one be? 600, 130, 310. What does this matrix represent? Here's the iPhone 8, here's the X, here's base, here's 64, here's 128. What do these numbers represent? Profit. This is your markup, right? This is your markup. They are marking up the phone. Oh wait, what time are we done? 7:40 or 10:45? Okay, I've got 5 minutes. So this is the markup. This is how much they've marked up the phone. This is how much they've marked up the memory. It's a big markup on the memory, right? All right, so what you have in your homework is a problem like this. But they add one twist to it, and I'm not going to be able to work it out. They add one twist to it. They say that because of some labor laws, perhaps in China, Apple's actually going to have to pay a little bit more to manufacture. All right? So next year, Apple's going to have to increase. Now, the problem in your book's different. It's not Apple, okay? But Apple's is expecting next year to have a 15% increase in costs. All right? And so on the retail end, they're going to come up, they can't come up 15%, it's too much. All right? So what they're going to do is they're going to increase by 10% here. All right? And the question is now, what will the new markup be? So how do you do that? Before we leave, I need to make sure everyone understands the problem and then understands how to do it. So yes, good. This is this year, right? Next year, that's got to go up by 15%, that's going to go up by 10%, and then you want to do the markup again, okay? But how do you raise this by 10%? Scalar multiplication. You're going to multiply this entire matrix by a number out here. What number? Not quite. Not 0.1. 1.1. 1.1. Why 1.1? If you do 0.1, that's going to give you 10% of that. If you do 1.1, that gives you 110%, which is 100% is what it was originally, right? And then the additional 10%. Okay? So you're going to multiply this by 1.1, you're going to multiply this one by 1.15, and then do the subtraction. Understand? Okay. Everybody? That's a word problem. Oh, it's in your schedule, but I think that's number 67. Let me see. It's 4.4. Yeah, it's number 67. Anybody need to sign in? Y'all have a great day.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
I wasn't here for the quiz. Is there any way I can make that up?
We can do that one time where if you miss a quiz, you can make one up. The next quiz we do, I'll count double.
Okay.
But you have to remind me when you turn it in that this is double. Okay? I'll count that as the one you missed also. So whatever grade you get on that, you're going to get that twice.
So can I still turn in quiz one? Or
Which one?
the one that we did on the 5th?
Are you talking about the one that I gave in class at the end and told the class to turn in?
I just know I only missed one day, and that was like the 5th, and that's when like everybody, that's when they had their quiz signed for the 5th.
Yeah.
So that might be,
Yeah, let's put that in the past. The next quiz, let's count double.
okay.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay. But you get that one time, all right? Okay. All right, have a good day.
This summer?
Yes.
I went, yeah.
I came in late this day, and I didn't get this to you. Most of it's wrong, but still, that's just extra money.
Okay, this is that take home. Is your,
Yeah.
I need your name.
We went to.
I'm gonna mark it as late, but I'll take it. Here, just put your, you can write with that, that's fine. Or here, there's a better pen.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
North. Yeah.